Welcome in this video, and here we are going to also talk about statistics. In our previous video, we defined a few terms which we use in statistics, and here again we are going to define a few more terms and of course do a few more examples on statistics 1. Well, we're going to talk about measure of central tendency, and measure of central tendency is the first way in which we can analyze a given set of data. Now, we're going to start with the first way in which we analyze data, and that is the mean. So what is the mean? The mean is the average of a given data. So if you are given a data, for example, you can be given 50 items and you want to find their mean. There are so many ways in which you can find the mean of such a data. Although in mathematics, we have types of data where we are going to classify some data as grouped or ungrouped. But in this case, we are going to do an example of ungrouped data. So generally, the average of the data, we have so many ways in which we can find the average of grouped or ungrouped data, and that is what we are going to do in our preceding videos. Now, the mode is the most appearing object or element. So that object that appears the most in a given set of data is the one that we call the mode. As we move on, we are going to notice that we have modal class, modal frequencies, and so on. So that means you have to keep track of what we are doing so that you can really understand what we mean by all these terms. Now let's talk about the median. The median is the middle object. So if you have a set of data, say 50, so if you count from 1 to 50, or you arrange the data in a given form, either ascending order or descending order, there is this term that is at the middle. That term, we call it, or that object, we call it the median. For group data, the median has a formula which we are going to introduce in our preceding videos as well, so that we can explain how you can work out the median of a given data, for grouped data that is. Now, let's talk about the mean, mode, and median for ungrouped data. What is ungrouped data? If you have a small set of data which you can simply analyze, for example, you have 10 objects that you want to find the mean, median, and mode. That data, since it is too small to classify it into groups, then we call it ungrouped data. So ungrouped data has no classes, therefore. So a data that has no classes, you don't need a lot of classes or so many formulae to calculate it, then we're going to classify it as ungrouped data. So, as an example, we have a set of data. We are supposed to find the mean, mode, and the median of 5, 6, all the way to 1. So how do we find the mean? So let's start with the mean. So to find the mean is going to be equal to the sum of all objects divided by the number of objects So that is how we find the mean for ungrouped data. Therefore, if we want to find the mean in this example, then we are going to have 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 and plus 1, and we divide it by the how many times they appear, and that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So we have 8 objects, and we are going to add their sum and find their average. Let me grab my calculator here. That's going to be 11, add to 10, add to 10 again, add to 9, that is when I've added 2, and then what I find is 40. So the mean is going to be 40 divided by 8, and 40 divided by 8 is exactly 5. So our mean for that data is 5. Now what about the mode? The mode, as we know from our definition here, is the most appearing object. So if you look at 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 1, you notice that we have an object that appears the most, which I believe is 3 or is 6. So 6 is the most appearing, and therefore we have the mode, mode is equals to 6. So we have two elements that appear in such a data, and therefore going to the mode. That is the element that has appeared the most. Now let's find the median. To find the median of such a data, we are going to first of all arrange the data in a given form. We are going to either arrange it in an ascending order from the smallest to the largest, or descending order, that is from the largest to the smallest. So whichever order you're going to choose, then you're going to find the middle object, and the middle object will be what we call the median. And therefore, for our data there, if I arrange it in an ascending order, then the lowest is going to be 1, then we have a 3, and then those elements have to be separated by commas, because in mathematics, when you separate them by commas, then we don't call them terms. Okay, so that is 3, the next is 4, the next element is 5, the next element is 6, we have 2 6s, you have to note that. The next element is 7, and then we have an 8. 8, I don't know whether we have left any. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, those are 8 elements, and now we want to find the middle term. So if I look at the first 3, and the last 3, we have 2 terms that are at the middle. Now, the moment you get 2 terms at the middle, then you're going to find their average. So their average is going to be, so if you notice the first 3 and the last 3, we have 2 objects that are at the middle. So for us to find the median, then we're going to find their average. For instance, if we got 1 term or 1 element at the middle, then we could take it exactly as the median. But now, since there are 2, then we're going to find their average. So the average is going to be 5 plus 6, and we divide that by 2, and that should be 11 divided by 2, which I believe is 5.5. So 5.5 is our median for such data. And that's how we generally work the median, the mode, and the mean for ungrouped data, which is very, very different from when we talk about grouped data. When you talk about grouped data, the mean, the mode, and the median really change a lot. And if you want to understand better, then you have to watch our next video, which we are going to cover the mean, mode, and median for the grouped data. Thank you.